Welcome nerds to another video! And as you can see by the amount of books that are in front of me, today we're going to talk about every fairy tale and fairy tale retelling on my shelves that I haven't read yet. So welcome to my fairy tale TBR. In the past, I have made recommendation videos about fairy tales that I actually read and loved. So I will link some of them below, but also if you go to the homepage of my channel, it will be on top. There will be a heading fairy tale where you can find every fairy tale related reading vlog recommendation video that I have ever made. And I have dressed up for quite a few of those, so you might be in for a fun treat after this video. Today, however, I would like to talk about books I haven't read yet, but I desperately need. And these will probably be the books that my Fairy Tale February TBR will contain out of, but in a smaller amount, hopefully. I have stacked them based on the fairy tale-ish something. So I think that's the best way to go about them. Yeah. Let's talk originals first. So this Christmas, Job gave me the Hans Christian Andersen Fairytales edition. This is in the Classic Stories edition by Flametree. It is a leather bound, and I do believe that all his fairy tales are in there, which I am excited about because I'm more known with the Grimm ones. I love the Grimm ones. So I am excited to dive into some Hans Christian and Christian Andersen ones because I do think I know more retellings than his original stories. And then I have started in this the complete first edition, the original folk and fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. These are the cruel, unedited, original stories. These are the ones where Cinderella, her feet get cut off, the sisters get their outs pecked out, stuff like that. These were the tales to tell caution to the children, basically. I love reading the original unedited ones, so I have started in this book, but I have not even come close to half of the stories. So I would really like to read, I would like to read this all one day. However, I ordered myself the hardback, which is very sad because when I ordered the paperback for my friend, these cutouts were actually cut out. So I would like to replace this edition with the actual paperback ones. So I have the nice, pretty cutout edition because this is so fake. However, it has all the cruel, unedited fairy tales by the Grimm brothers, so I would like to read more of this. Which fairy tale to do first? Let's talk about the books that do not have a specific fairy tale, but have multiples, or I'm not exactly sure. This is the stack of books that have absolutely fairy tale vibes, but I'm either not sure if it's a direct retelling or it has multiple retellings in it. First is The Isle of Lost. This is the first book in the Descendant novels by Melissa de la Cruz. This is about all the Disney villains, the evil villains, being banished. However, most Disney stories are based on a fairy tale. A lot of them are actually based on the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales. So I'm not super excited about this. My mom got these for me from a free little library and I love it. However, I'm not excited about the Descendants and I don't know why. Because I have no recollection of actually watching that series. But for some reason I have a negative association with it. So I'm very curious to see how the books are and see if I enjoy them or not. Then we have the Land of Stories. This is the Enchantress and Turns. This is the second book in the Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer. And this is about a brother and a sister that literally get sucked into a fairy tale book. So they end up in the fairy tale forest and they come across multiple characters from multiple fairy tales. I absolutely loved the first one, but for some reason never continued with the second. And it's a bit intimidating because of how thick it is, but it's, you know, the first one was thick and I loved that one. I flew through it, so I don't think it matters. Oh, and I actually think this might qualify as a Sleeping Beauty retelling. Because the back says, Sleeping Beauty was just about to call for help when a blinding flash of violet light filled the forest. The queen screamed and fell to the ground, covering her face. But the flash lasted only a second. She smelled smoke and got to her feet and looked around. The entire forest was ablaze and every tree had been turned into a spinning wheel. There was no denying it now. The kingdom's greatest fear had come true. The enchantress, Sleeping Beauty whispered to herself. She's back. Oh, I do hope we're gonna focus on Maleficent in this one. That would be great. Then I have The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I have started this book in another camp and didn't get far in. I got 42 pages in. This is about 17-year-old Alice, and the most part of her life she has been on the run with her mom, and her grandma is the writer of a dark fairy tale, and somehow the story caught up with them. I can't remember a lot of the 42 pages I've read. I know we're not at the fairy tale part yet, but I do think I will enjoy this, so I would like to, continue the book and actually read further, because I do think that when I, start reading again or just read the first pages, I will remember and I can actually pick up where I left it. Then my mom also found in a little free library the Magical Unicorn Society, the official handbook, and this just looked too cute and I want to try it. The Magical Unicorn Society has existed for centuries, dedicated to studying, understanding, and protecting unicorns. The secretive society has been shrouded in mystery until now. This official handbook documents decades of research and exploration and provides the ultimate guide to these fantastical beasts. At last there is proof that unicorns and their spellbinding magic are real. And I do feel like, unicorns, magical creatures, they're very bound to the fairy tale forest, right? I think it is fairy tale like. Good enough to mention here. It's a highly, highly illustrated book. So I think it will be a quick read. It will probably be a bit on the middle grade, but I'm just excited to find out, to see, and then probably pass it on, but I don't know. It looks cute. And then I also have Stain by A.G. Howard. I am not sure if this is a direct retelling, but it's giving me Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty vibes. Once upon a nightmare, her fairy tale begins. This is by H.G. Howard. He wrote a Splintered series, which is one of my favorite Alice in Wonderland retellings. So I am very excited about this one. This is definitely fairy tale like. I'm just not sure if this is maybe a dark reimagining of Sleeping Beauty. I'm not sure, but it's giving a lot of fairy tale vibes. So I really want to read it. This is a book that has been gifted to me from exchange group. And I just haven't picked it up because it's thick and it's intimidating again. I also could not find the audiobook. I think that didn't help. But I loved H.G. Howard's writing, so I would like to get to it. Now, on to actual fairy tales, retellings. Let's talk. Oh no, This is another overall one. Fierce fairy tales and other stories to stir your soul. I have heard nothing but great things about this. My mom gave this to me, and it's feminist fairy tales for young and old. Await no princess to save you, though through their lips touching yours whilst you are in unwilling slumber. Wake each other up instead. Step into this world of empowering, reimagined fairy tales where the stereotypes of obliging lovers, silent men and girls that need rescuing are transformed into brave princesses. Blurred lines between heroes and villains, and courageous Gretel who can bring down a monster on her own. But she did. She shoved that witch in the oven. No, this is another one that I think has multiple. It sounds like it has multiple stories. I would love to read this. Why think about quit anger management? Oh my god, that's that was just a chapter. That's a great. It's by Nikita Guillaume. Then now, I do have Beauty and the Beast. What is the other? There is a fairy tale that is very similar to Beauty and the Beast. Once Upon a Moon, or the moon, something with the moon. This one is The Beast's Heart, a novel of Beauty and the Beast, utterly enchanted by Life Shallcross. This is just one I didn't get through in my Beauty and the Beast vlog, but it's gorgeous, and I would like to read it. I'm neither monster nor man, yet I am both. I am the Beast. I know why I was cursed. I know the legacy of evil. I carry it in my tainted blood, so how could she ever love me? My Isabeau, she opened my eyes, my mind, and my heart when I was struggling just to be human. And now I might lose her forever. I'm very curious about this one. Then we have Bryony and Roses from T. Kingfisher. I absolutely love anything T. Kingfisher, right? Rosie gifted this to me, and people keep telling me I need to read it because it's good. And I incline to, agree with you all. Bryony and her sister have come down in the world. Their merchant father died trying to reclaim his fortune and left them to eke out a living in a village far from their home in the city. But when Bryony is caught in a snowstorm and takes refuge in an abandoned manor, she stumbles into a house full of dark enchantment. Is the beast that lives there her captor or a fellow prisoner? Is the house her enemy or her ally? And why are roses blooming out of season in the courtyard? Armed only with gardening shears and her wits, Bryony must untangle the secrets of the house before she or the beast are swallowed by them. It's the Kingfisher. She can do no harm. I am gonna love this. On that note, another T. Kingfisher I still need to read is Tornage. I absolutely love it. I don't know, I haven't read it, but again, it's T. Kingfisher, can't do no harm. I first thought it was a Sleeping Beauty retelling, which it is not. It looks like it's more Rapunzel one, which, with the tower, it makes sense. There is a princess trapped in this tower, so this isn't her story though. So we will see what we find. It's a short one, so I should be able to read it. Another Rapunzel one is one that I found when I was in London, and it's Rapunzel and the Lost Lagoon by Lila Howland. I just saw that it's a Tangled retelling, and I love it, so I bought it. It was like £4. It definitely looks like a middle grade. 283 pages, so it should be very doable. I am just waiting for, doing another Rapunzel vlog or doing a Beauty and the Beast vlog. That is basically the reasons why none of these books have been read. Because I've been saving them until I have 3 to do a reading vlog about them. But this says, when Rapunzel and Cassandra stumble across a secret lagoon, set to hold the key to the kingdom's greatest power, it's up to them to solve the mystery before someone more sinister does. Follow this tale of adventure and intrigue, love and destiny, and most importantly, friendship. So these two are my Rapunzel retellings, but I'm missing a third. One fairy tale I actually have three of, and that I did do a reading vlog for is Rumplestiltskin. He is very intriguing to me. However, I didn't get to these books. We have Rump, the true story of Rumplestilskin by Liesl Shirtlip. This is a middle grade. In a magical kingdom where your name is your destiny, 12-year-old Rump is the butt of everybody's joke. Now, it sounds amazing. This is a real Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Then we obviously have Gilded by Marissa Meyer. I started this, I think, in that reading vlog, but yeah, I'm 154 pages in. It didn't grab me, and I do think that was my mood. I can't imagine, honestly, it's this book, because Marissa Meyer wrote another fairy tale series, Cinder and stuff that I loved. She then wrote Heartless, which is my favorite Alice in Wonderland retelling of all times. So she can't do no harm. So I'm sure I'm gonna love this book. I just had to be in the right mindset. So I have been waiting for that. And last year I was just very into horror, but now I'm feeling middle grade and fairy tale vibes again. So maybe this is the year. I also have the second book in that series, which is Cursed, which since it's a direct sequel, I assume it's also Rumplestiltskin. However, I haven't read the back because I'm scared it will spoil the first book. Then I have two Cinderella one. The first is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Byron. I've heard great things about this, and it's a fairy tale retelling, so I needed to try that. And I could buy it cheap on Vinted. So when I had the chance, I immediately snacked it up. This it's 200 years since Cinderella found the prince, but the fairy tale is over. I believe this was something about digital matches, right? Sophia knows the story through, though, off by heart, because every girl has to recite it daily. From when she's tiny until the night she's sent to the royal ball for choosing. And every girl knows that she only has one chance, for the lives of those not chosen by a man at the ball are forfeit. But Sophia doesn't want to be chosen. She doesn't want to go to the ball at all, not when she's afraid the girl she loves might be chosen too. Pushed beyond breaking by a society that denies everything she is, Sophia sets out on a journey that will remake her world into one where she gets to choose. That sounds good. And then I have Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. Beauty is not always pretty. I have read another Jennifer Donnelly retelling. It was Poised. It was a Snow White retelling, and I think I like that one. But it's hard because there were a lot of retellings in that book that I didn't like. So I'm not sure, and I'm a bit unsure now about it. Especially since it is a chunker, so it's a commitment. But it's also a commitment I could just easily put away because I only have two Cinderella books. So, and I want three for a vlog. Isabella is happy. She's, ready to marry the beautiful prince. However, she is not the cute little girl with the glass shoe. She is the ugly stepsister. Oh, it actually talks about her, cutting off her own toes to fit in the shoes. I am very, very curious to see about the stepsis point of view. Another fairy tale I have only two books of is The Little Mermaid. I have The Mermaid by Christina Henry. I am very, very hesitant about this one. Overall, I love her stories. They're gruesome, they're gory, they're true horror stories. However, she has disappointed me many times by having a magical ending that destroys the whole horrorness of the book. So I'm very afraid it's gonna happen again, and that's why I haven't read it yet. But it's gorgeous. I'm curious. I just have to get it over with. And then I have another Rise of the Lost. This is book 3 in the Descendants novel. So I'm not sure how important it is to follow the actual books, because I'm missing book 2 because my mom could find book 1 and 3 in a little free library. And this is again Right with the Tide, which is, yeah, it's talking about King Triton, so it is a Little Mermaid retelling. So if you can read these books as standalones, because then I can do it. Maybe if I'm not very invested in the story at the first book, I will also still do it. I'm gonna be honest, then I will be hesitant to do this vlog because both of these books then have definitely cons to them. And then at last, one of my favorite fairy tales. This might be the favorite fairy tale. I'm unsure. It's either Red Riding or Hansel and Gretel. I think I love them both equally. There is no more Hansel and Gretel retelling that I own physically because I read the ones I own. But I do have gathered some Red Riding because I was planning to do a vlog, but it just didn't came to it last year. I had Blood Sisters by Jackson Pierce. I bought this because this is actually the first book of the series where I've read the Hansel and Gretel retelling from, which was the second or the first book. You can read them separately, but I think it spoiled a tiny bit of this, and it probably would have, that part made more sense if I read this first, but it was fine. I loved that book. It was a very high 4-star, maybe even a 5-star. I'm not sure anymore. So I'm very excited to get in this one. This is Scarlet March. She lives to hunt the Fenrir, the werewolves. Yeah, she is armed with a, I don't know, I have the Dutch edition, but she has a blood red cloak and the thing that wood choppers use, an axe and an axe. I'm very excited about this. I don't need to know more. It's a Red Riding retelling, which I'm already gonna love. And then it's by an author that I've read a book from in the same series that I loved some. Then I have this one that I found in London again, All the Better to See You by Gina Blackstone. Legend tells of a fearsome wolf who stalks the forest. Red is well versed in the story of the beast, who preys on unsuspecting travelers, and yet she pays them no mind. But then, Red has always been different. Suddenly, whispers of all the wolf become more frequent, and townspeople are attacked in their homes. It seems this is no ordinary wolf. Rumors run wild, and people began suspecting one another. But when you don't know who to fear, how can you protect yourself? A fairy tale that twist that might not end happily ever after. I love it. It sounds very dark. I hope it is the heart. Oh, I think Red Riding Hood and Hansel and Gretel lean itself to be very, very dark retellings, but still feel, especially Hansel and Gretel, still feels magical. But with the Rotten Candy and stuff, you can make very dark retellings of them. I think they loan themselves perfectly for it, and I think that's why they're my favorite. And then I have What Big Teeth by Rose Sazebo. This is a very well-known book, and I think it's a horror retelling of Red Riding. That's why I bought it. Eleanor Zarin has been estranged from her wild, bloodthirsty family for years. When she flees boarding school after a horrifying incident, she goes to the only place she thinks is safe, the home she left behind. But when she gets there, she struggles to fit in with her monstrous relatives, who prowl the woods around the family estate and reap fortunes in the guts of birds. Oh yeah, it's gonna be dark. Eleanor finds herself desperately trying to hold the family together, all while attempting to make sense of re-emerging power that seems increasingly linked to the reason she was sent away in the first place. In order to save them all, Eleanor must learn to embrace her family of monsters and tame the darkness inside her. Rose Sabo's thrilling debut is a dark fantasy novel about a teen girl who returns home after she was forcibly ripped away from it. This exquisitely terrifying and beautiful tale will sink its teeth into you and never let go. I imagine, I think this will fit the horror bingo board, the yearly thing I'm doing, because isn't the pink horror prompt the girly horror, like with a female empowering plot, also the one that is debut as hard mode, because it says debut and it sounds like pink horror. Maybe. Well, these are all my fairy tale-esque books that I have on my shelves and still need to read, and I'm very excited about them. Please, if you have any opinion on what I should prioritize, maybe for Fairy Tale February, let me know down below. If you like this video, please think about like, subscribe if you want to see more games from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, nerds!